This video will show you how you can accelerate your manifestations by intentionally jumping directly into the reality, the parallel reality where your desires exist now. And before we start, I want you to notice, even if you understand nothing about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, you are already naturally shifting among parallel realities. You are doing it naturally, and you are doing it based on the fluctuations in your beliefs, in your expectations, and in your emotional states, dominant emotional states. So today you learn how to do this reality shifting thing, not only automatically, subconsciously, but how to do it in a deliberate way, in an intentional way, so that you start manifesting faster, better, with more ease, the desires you have in your business, in your life right now. Hi, I'm Cristina, and if this is your first time in my world, know that I'm all about success energetics. And I'm all about mastering our subconscious so that we get illogical results in both our businesses and our lives. If you are here in order to grow your spiritual business in a way that elevates not only your finances, but also the way you feel inside yourself, and you want to do all this while also living an extraordinary life, then hit the subscribe button and the bell button, and let's dive in. Before I'm taking you through the exact process of jumping from one reality to another higher reality where your desires are living, I want you to know these three important key truths that will be bringing so much ease into your manifestations. The first truth is that you don't create anything. You are just selecting from among the things that already exist, and in the quantum, all possibilities exist, and you are just experiencing the possibility that you are exploring right now in this current moment. And I know that this can feel very abstract and confusing, and it is abstract for the human mind. So let's look at the quantum as being into this big dark room where we know that there are so many things, there are so many objects, there is a lot of stuff, but we have no idea where the stuff is or what a stuff is or how to get to any of these objects. But we do have a flashlight, and when we are putting the light on different parts of the room, we are becoming aware of what those parts of the room are holding. This is our awareness of reality. But the fact that we are just looking at one particular part of the room, which is what is available for us using our flashlight, doesn't mean that the rest of the room ceases to exist. It doesn't mean that the rest of the things don't exist. This is how we experience parallel realities. We can only see the reality and experience the reality that we are putting our light on, which is our awareness. Now keep this understanding around quantum and how things exist outside of our awareness, even if we are not aware of them. So how all possibilities exist, keep this in mind. And now let's look into what it means that we don't create those possibilities, we are just accessing them. And in order to get this concept, I want you to think about the possibility of flying. The potential of flying as a human being, individually or in groups, has always existed, has always been there, way before planes became a thing in the 20th century. The potential of flying had already been there since before the invention of the planes, which simply means that we don't need to create. We don't create the potential. We don't create the possibility. We just become aware of how to access the possibility, the potential that's already there. Now, the second truth is that we access each reality through its matching consciousness. And in order to understand this, I want you to think of who you are today, the version of you that you grew into. And think of your beliefs today, your perspective of life today, the way reality is working for you today. And then I want you to think of the version of you that you were 10 years ago. Think of her beliefs, her perspectives, her truths, and the way reality was working for her there. You will see that the you are today lives in a completely different reality than the reality of the you that you left behind. The world is more or less the same, the planet is more or less the same, but the reality that you are experiencing today is so different from the reality that you were experiencing 10, 15, heck, sometimes even 5 or 2 or 1 year ago. The difference being your consciousness. Here you are aware of so much more. You are seeing things differently. You are seeing the same thing sometimes that you are seeing here, but through completely different lenses, through a completely different perspective. So each reality has a different consciousness. When we rise in consciousness, we are rising into a different reality, in a different timeline. Now, I also want to bring you something that changed my life, changed me at the core when I had this realization. Each reality, each lifeline, and we have infinite realities and lifelines that exist in the quantum. Now, each reality with its consciousness has a script which is in matching, it's in line with the consciousness of that lifeline. This also means that the experiences that we can have on a lifeline are more or less inside the same kind of spectrum, inside the same kind of reality. And understanding this is really essential, because what most of us are doing is pushing, fighting against a lifeline, against the facts of a certain reality, thinking that if we are working harder, if we are pushing harder, if we are fighting whatever is that reality or what we are fighting inside that reality, we will be changing it. And the truth of the matter is that we can't essentially change a lifeline, the script of a lifeline. We can fight it, we can push against it, we can't change it. And most of us are looping inside the same old realities because we are just trying to push our way into a different reality inside the same lifeline. If we want a completely different experience, it's not here on the same old lifeline that we need to push, we need to make efforts. We can have a different experience, but only by changing the lifeline, by going into a different, higher reality. So we can't change the script of the lifeline, but we can change the lifeline. And this is all that this video is about. Your manifestations of things that are never done before, that are unique, that are things that will completely change your business, your life, the way you are experiencing your journey, will always be on a different timeline than the one where you are right now. And that's why it's so essential to understand how to jump from here to here. And also it's essential to stop pushing against where you are, because that's not gonna take you anywhere, will just keep you in looping realities. Instead of that, double down on what I'm gonna share with you today and master the art and the science of jumping into higher realities, into higher lifelines. So this was the second truth. Now here's the third and last key truth around manifestations. The way you shift through different levels of consciousness is through your awareness. In other words, the way we jump from one lifeline, from one reality to another reality, is through the consciousness, accessing the consciousness of each reality. And the way we access the consciousness of each reality is through the awareness of it. The awareness of being is what makes your physical current reality feel solidly real. It's your awareness of it, your experience of it, that makes this reality feel solidly real. But what happens if you are moving away your awareness away from this reality? When you are going to sleep, for instance, you are drifting off into sleep, and little by little, this awareness of this physical reality starts to become fuzzy and fades away altogether. And instead, you start becoming aware of the reality of your dream, in your dream. And that reality, through your awareness of being there, becomes vivid, becomes colorful, becomes solid. While the current physical reality that you left behind is nowhere to be found, disappears, fades out. So when you are aware of the reality in your dream, you are literally being there. And this is really to show that we can shift intentionally through realities by moving our awareness into the reality that we choose, by allowing ourselves to be aware of experiencing that reality, by being in that new reality. Okay, guys, enough with this. Let's jump directly into the shifting process, the process of shifting into higher realities. The first step is focus. Focusing on the awareness of your desired reality, allowing yourself to experience it by becoming aware of it. And when I say this doesn't mean that you need to convince yourself that you are there in your next level reality, or to convince yourself that it is possible, or to convince yourself that you are doing it right. None of that is needed, required, so let go of it. Your only job is to let yourself experience the reality that you want to move yourself into. And it's really important to remember, you are not creating that reality. It's already created. You are just accessing it through the awareness of it, through letting yourself be there, in simple words. And let yourself be there above time. Forget about any kind of inner voice that is telling you, but how long will it take? When will this happen? All this inner chatter is irrelevant, and more than that, is interfering with your manifestation. Remember, once again, the only job you have is focus on the experience of being into your desired reality, and let go of any kind of inner chatter that is questioning whether you are doing it well, or you are doing it right, or if you are not, mistaking the process. Trying to intellectualize manifestation is making manifestation be harder. And in order for you to understand this, I want you to think of trying to figure out how to breathe in the best way, in the most performing way. The more you try to figure out that about your breathing, the harder it will be for you to actually breathe. Why? Because breath is natural. It's a subconscious thing that happens to us naturally. We don't have to micromanage it intellectually from a conscious mind level. We just need to let it happen. And it's the same with your manifestation. It's the same with you moving into the awareness of the reality that you want to access. Just flow with it. Let yourself be there. Let yourself experience it. One last thing about focus. We need to train our focus not to go into it's not working. What if this problem arrives? What if it's not happening? What if I'm doing it wrong? I don't like this. So learn to always switch from focusing on resistance, focusing on what you don't want, focusing on what you don't have, and learn how to pivot back into this is what I want. Being in this reality feels, and let yourself feel. What I love the most about being in this reality is that, and let yourself be there. Pivot back into being there, pivot back into the awareness of it, pivot back into experiencing it, and let yourself merge with the version of you that lives into that reality. seeing through her eyes, hearing through her ears, feeling through her heart, letting yourself savor the delight of being there, enjoying the experience of being that reality, allowing yourself to fill your heart, fill up with joy for being in that experience. This is what focus is about. And I think that now you have it quite clear. Now, the second step of the jumping into a higher reality process is releasing resistance. And I want to give you some keys in order to understand where resistance is and how to release it. So after you focused and you gave yourself the experience of being in the reality that you desire, I want you to ask yourself, do I actually believe that that reality is possible for me? And if the answer is not, there is no drama. It's just you becoming aware of the resistance. And the way we make the resistance not work against us is by not resisting the resistance. If we tell ourselves, even if I don't believe it's possible, it's still possible for me. Even if I don't believe it, it's still possible for me to receive what I want. It's still possible for me to jump into the higher reality. Even if I doubt that I can, it is still possible. It can still happen. So you see, we are not opposing resistance to the resistance. We are just allowing it to be. And as we are allowing it to be, then it's not impacting anymore our manifestation. This is the first key of releasing resistance. The second key is always checking with your feeling of deservedness. Along the years, one of the main blocks to my manifestations personally, but also manifestations that I worked on with my clients over all these years, one of the main blocks always is feeling not good enough yet for receiving whatever is the desired reality. We feel like we are not good enough yet, and we need to fix ourselves, we need to improve ourselves in order to get to a level where we are deserving of what we want. And this is your reminder. Check within yourself. Do you 100%, 1000% feel like you are deserving of what you desire? And if the answer is actually no, there is a part in me that thinks that I'm not good enough yet, I'm not ready yet, then I want you to work with bumping up your deservedness feelings. Remind yourself, I am deserving of my desires. I am good enough. I am good enough right now the way I am. And this is not to say stop evolving. Don't put any effort into becoming a better version of yourself. None of that. I encourage you to continue evolving, continue investing in yourself, continue, expanding and leaning into your edges so that you explore more of who you are and become a bigger version of yourself. But do all that from a space of, I want to become a better version of myself because it gives me joy, not because I need to earn my worthiness so I can finally receive what I want. You feel the subtle difference? It's a whole dimension, whole different dimension when we improve ourselves for the joy of it, or we improve ourselves because we want to feel deserving. You are deserving right now. Wire that in. The next key when it comes to releasing resistance is releasing the push against the current reality. And hear me out, I see so many people who are like doing perfectly the first step. They focus, they are there, they feel the smells, they feel the emotions, they are living inside their desired reality, but then they are coming back into the current physical reality and they hate it and they push against it. They just are wasting so much energy into rejecting what is. That kind of resistance will be slowing down so much your manifestations. And I'm gonna say something that will be feeling like a lot of liberation, a lot of freedom. You don't have to love your current reality. You can, knock yourself out and continue to hate it. But what will help you immensely is to stop pushing against it. It's like, this is my reality. It is what it is. I don't, particularly love it, but stop pushing against it, because the moment you push against it, what you resist persists. So let's release also the resistance when it comes to pushing against the current reality. One last thought about this second step, releasing resistance. It's never about never having doubts, never having negative thoughts, never having fear, never pushing against the reality we are currently in. It's not about, the absolute release of all resistance or all negativity. It's about understanding how to bounce back rapidly from worry, from resistance, from doubt, from pushing, from feeling not deserving. Learn to become aware and catch yourself when the mind goes there, and immediately bounce back into beliefs and ways of being and feeling that are serving you more and are serving you better. So it's not about not having any negative thoughts. It's about the time, diminishing the time that we are entertaining these negative thoughts and this resistance. Guys, the third step in our jumping into a higher reality process is detachment. Detach yourself from the need of your manifestation, the feeling that you need it in order to fix yourself, to save yourself, to feel better. And there are many people who are always asking, how can I detach and focus at the same time? How is it possible to focus and to detach? It feels contradictory to the human mind, but actually it's not contradictory at all. In fact, we can focus while being detached, and this means you are allowing yourself to be in the experience of your desired reality, being in the awareness of it without feeling anymore that you need it. And I want to tell you this: if you are already moved fully into the awareness of being in that reality, then you can't actually need it, because needing something means I don't have it. And when you are fully moved, you fully inhabit it, the awareness of your desired reality, being in its experience, you can't possibly need something that you already have. You are already there, you already have it, it's already yours. You are that consciousness. So this is one way to look at detachment, and just answering the question how we can focus while being detached. We can and we should. Now, detachment is really releasing the emotional need for the manifestation to happen. And we have this emotional need because we feel like we can only access the kind of emotions, the kind of ways of feeling inside ourselves by receiving our manifestation. And that obviously is a distortion, a mind distortion. So the way to release the emotional attachment to our manifestation is by giving ourselves the emotions, the states that we hope that the manifestation will be giving us, giving all those states to ourselves right now. So let's say that we want a reality where we have so much more abundance and so much more money flowing in. We don't actually want money. We have this impression that we need money and we have emotional attachment to money, but actually what we want is safety, is feeling satisfied inside ourselves, feeling powerful, feeling like we are, safe inside our reality and comfortable. We can give all those states to ourselves, and more important than that, we are actually the only person that can give those states to ourselves, and we can give them to ourselves now. So practice safety, practice feeling comfortable inside yourself, practice feeling satisfied with yourself, practice peace, practice stillness, practice calm, whatever you want to obtain, as a result of your manifestation. Practice those states within yourself right now, and you will inevitably detach from needing your manifestation. Okay guys, this is it. This is what I had to share with you today. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. Let me know any kind of realizations or anything that's come up for you. It always gives me so much joy to read your comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I would be so grateful if you could give it a like so that you help me, you help the algorithm to show this work, these messages to more people. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so that you get notified when I post a new video that might interest you. Lastly, I recommend you to watch next the video how to change your inner story in order to attract anything you want.